Carolina on the ride. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Carolina on the rise. Whoa.
What's going on, Panther Nation? Bill Mack here with another edition of the Panther Prowl. Glad you Panther fans could join me for another preview video. Of course, coming off for that devastating loss that our Panthers suffered at the hands of the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football. We are ready to bounce back and bounce on those Chicago Bears. We're going up north to Chicago. Soldiers Field, and we're going to take on the upcoming quarterback Mitchell Trubisky of the Chicago Bears, rookie out of North Carolina. Now our Panthers are 4-2. We are undefeated away. We are 3-0, taking on the Bears, who are 2-4, only 1-2 at home this season. The ESPN projections have us at a almost 70% chance of winning. I think it's like 69.3. Compared to almost the 30% that the Chicago Bears have to win. Our leaders of our team, Cam is 127 of 197 for 1,476 yards, 9 TDs to 8 interceptions. I know that ratio isn't very good, but it shall get better. Jay Stu, he's got 85 carries for 247 yards, yet to break in that touchdown column, but I will know that he will get there soon enough this season, Panther fans. Kelvin Benjamin, of course, leading the receivers with 26 receptions, 371 yards, and 1 TD. On the other side, on the Bears side, Trubisky, like I said, is making his second full start. He came in from Mike Glennon after the first game. He played the last couple of games. Trubisky's stats so far are 20 of 41, 241 yards, 2 TDs, and 1 interception. Howard is their running back. He has had 118 carries, 495 yards, 4 TDs. So that spells to be a rushing problem that we're going to have to watch. And Wright, which is their leading receiver, 20 receptions, 236 yards, 1 TD. So it looks like they're more of a rushing team than they really are a passing team. So that's what we're looking at for this week, folks. Carolina, of course, leads the points per game, 21.3 to 17.5 points allowed. We allow just over 20.3. They allow 24.7. We also lead total yardage, 344.3 yards to 324.8 yards, and they're averaging our Panthers are averaging 248 in passing, 95 in rushing. The Chicago Bears average about 136 in rushing. So that's going to be where we're going to have to focus as I get later into this into the discussion or to the video. Last game, as I said, our Panthers lost a heartbreaker to the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football, 28-23. We had just a rough showing. Our front seven really just could not get it going. Their offensive line dominated our defense, and we just weren't able. Our offensive line just couldn't get anything going in the rushing department. So we look to bounce back from that, and of course, the Chicago Bears somehow won in overtime against Baltimore, 27-24. So that just kind of was a shocker to me. Of course, when you're playing a team like Baltimore with no offense, things like that tend to happen. So we've got here's who so far is going to be the in and outs. Kuechly is looking to be out of concussion protocol, which is a good thing, but he is going back Monday to the doctor to check out, which is good for Luke. I know Thomas Davis said that he was glad to see Luke back on the field. Luke has had so many problems with concussions after having such dominant years as one of the most dominating, if not one of the best linebacking corps in the NFL with our Panthers, with Thomas Davis on the other side of him. And great news, Panther fans, while we have coming back making his return since the first game of the season is a Pro Bowl center Ryan Khalil. Now, Panther fans, this is where we're going to look really good because we need to have Ryan Khalil back in there. Our O line has been very shaky, and Larson's done a pretty decent job as being the center and the backup, but Khalil is the commander in chief on that O line. He keeps everybody and puts everybody in their place, gets the communication flowing, puts people where they need to be. And I am so glad to have him back because I know how important it is, and we do, to have that center to get these. To read the coverages, to call out and want that O line into particular places in which they need to be. So that's a great thing to have our Panthers in, is having Khalil back. Benjamin looks good enough. He didn't practice earlier on a few days back, but he looks good to go. Glad to see him back in. Now, here are the highlights for our Panthers. These are some things to at least that we know that are good for our Panthers. Is that Cam is better on the road. As I said, he is 3-0 this season with a 71 completion percentage, which is awesome. He has 8 touchdowns, only 2 INTs, and a 77 total QBR, which is a lot different than his home. So you would think that players would have more of a better game being home, but Cam this year is showing he is much better on the road. Also, like I just briefly stated, the O-line should get a boost with the return of Pro Bowl center Ryan Khalil. I am looking forward to him, and that O-line should be able to protect Cam. Also, the fact that the Panthers scored nearly 28 points a game away while only mustering up 15 points per game at home. So, it being an away game and what the Panthers are averaging almost double and what they do on the road, this is a good sign for us going into Chicago, into Soldier Field, facing a rookie cornerback who really doesn't have a lot of offensive weapons at wide receiver. So this does look to be a high points for us, and those are our high points. Now, our low points are these things. Like I said, Luke Kuechly's ruled out. Kurt Coleman, he may or may not play. It's still listed as questionable right now. I hope he plays because that will surely help our secondary as Coleman's been out for a while, and it's going to be a good thing to have his veteran presence back there. He's one of our best secondary guys, and he hits hard, he plays hard, and he also can get those turnovers too. So it'll be good to have if he can play. It's still not known just yet, but I'm trying to get this video out before I fully know what's going on with him. Keys to victory for our Carolina defense. The Panthers must contain Mitch Trubisky, folks. Panther Nation, we've got to make sure because Trubisky is a mobile quarterback. As we've seen him, any of those who have caught any of the Bears games that he has started is very mobile. He can make things happen, which can sometimes pose a problem for a defense. So they might as well have to maybe have a QB spy on one of them, keep an eye on Trubisky in this game. He is more mobile and when a quarterback much more mobile than just a pocket passer. So he can he can run around, plays can more or less open up than just being there in the pocket, hitting your check downs and then getting it out. So we're going to have to watch Trubisky in this. And with our fifth ranked rushing defense, we should try to shut down a rushing game that has averaged with Chicago over 138 yards a game. That's where our trouble's going to be. A lot of times we can play. Sometimes we've been kind of up and down. We can shut down the game, but then sometimes we give up over 100 yards rushing. But we need to shut down that rushing game of the Chicago Bears. I think if we can shut down the game, force Trubisky to have to throw, and we can kind of contain him, and we can cause him to make some mistakes. That's the things it's going to take, turnovers and things, to cause turnovers in this. Also, no penalties. We cannot have a lot of those goofy penalties like offsides, holding, You know, we've got to make sure we've got to have that a strong front seven. We've got to get to that quarterback, put some pressure on him, lay some hits to him, pick off some passes. We've just got to let him know, hey, we're still here. That's what our offensive line, or excuse me, our defensive line has to do. And let Peppers do his thing. Peppers got 6.5 sacks. He's doing awesome where he's picking up a sack a game, which is right where we want him to be at. And you wouldn't think it was one of his 17th or 18th season, I believe, or close to that, Panther Nation. Don't get on me if I don't quite get it quite right. I should have looked that up before, but I know he's got 6.5 sacks so far this season. Now, our offense, this goes to our offensive side. We've got to show consistent quarterback play while on the road. Cam is doing all this great works on the road. Why not continue? Hey, Cam, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Try to get your running backs and stuff involved. You know, limit mistakes such as passes that are not reaching your targets. Like you had the interception one where you allowed Trey Turner to get pushed into you. You made that throw, got picked off, and then Jay Stu let the pass glance off of his hands and into another receiver's arms, and that created a turnover. Cam, get your foot planted, throw it out. You're throwing off that back foot. Everybody on the planet sees it, and you got to step up in that pocket a little bit sometimes and get that pass off, and when you can. So also too is we've got to get that running attack back. Last week Cam was basically the only runner that we had. We cannot allow Cam the rushing attack be the Cam Newton show. It just ain't going to work. That's why we got McCaffrey to do short passes, swing passes, screen passes. We got him to run off the edge. We got Jonathan Stewart, but that only helps if our O-line has to open up some holes for our running backs. I mean, last week before yards before scrimmage, they were -1. That means Philadelphia was in their own backfield waiting on them whenever they had the ball. They've got to hold up. And like I said, Khalil will be a big point in that if they can just allow that to happen. And also, last but not least, Mike Shula, you're the offensive coordinator. This falls heavily on you. You've been heavily criticized. I've criticized you myself. You've got to call a better game than what you're doing. Some of your play calling is just kind of they're head scratchers. I mean, you don't have to rush the ball first down every single down, especially when you're putting your backfield down each time you try to carry. Sometimes you have to shake it up. You've got weapons. You've got to learn how to use the weapons. Cam's got plenty of weapons. You've got the plays. It's just do or die for you, because I don't think if you don't do well this season, the Panthers are going to let you go and find another offensive coordinator that can hopefully understand and appreciate the weapons in which they have. I don't think you do. So you've got to call a better game today than what you did against Philadelphia. So you've got to do something, Mike Shula. You've got to call a better game plan than what you've been doing. Panther Nation is watching you, and we're seeing what you can do. And you've had enough time in that offense to try to do better, and you're just not showing us any results yet and making any of us Panther fans and Panther Nation, breathe a sigh of relief with it. So these are the things to do, fans. I'm glad you watched my video. Like I said, if you have any questions, anything you want to interject into the video, feel free to drop them in the comments. Give this video a big old like. Subscribe to my channels. I pump out my Panther videos for all the Panther Nation, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And like I said, if you do like it, share this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And until next time, after the Panthers game, I will bring you the review to it. So until then, Panther Prowl, Bill Mack, keep pounding.